I mean this in the nicest possible way.
There we
I
go.
will slap you.
Well, there we go.
Like, there we go. So
Oh,
today
this
it's
meeting
not
being
going to be live.
recorded.
I'm going to record it instead, and I'll upload it after. Um,
Okay.
but the good news is you can pause a recording. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, so tell us, um, Stormy, why is for how? What's your first day on the job look like? How do they approach you for the job?
So they always kind of watched for when growing up they found a uh let me get the actual name of it.
Sure.
I do not know how to pronounce it. It's M-A or Namahage.
Namahage.
Yeah. Snuck into the family home that they were living in with a few other families. And it went berserk when some of the people were skipping their work shift, and the organization came in to deal with it. And they kind of noticed him then. So throughout, as he was growing up, they kept an eye on him because he had already experienced it and was kind of knew about the organization from that.
I see. And they brought you in because you broke into a building?
Because he's very they brought him in because he's very clever with his hands, even though occasionally that the sticky fingers goes a little bit too far.
That kind of clever with your hands. All right, just checking. Uh, Tanamichi, same question.
So for Tanamichi, he was kind of out living on the streets and got attacked by yokai. Uh and someone who worked for the Arashi clan came to take care of it. And he was basically like, what is this? What's going on? He was kind of very confused, but also just super interested to see like what this whole thing was. Um, and so they basically were like, well, we can't tell you that. And he was like, well, I have no connection. I don't have anybody like that I would tell. So like, why can't I come learn what this thing is? And he basically like talked his way into getting a meeting with the head guys and uh
You bullshitted your way into a government job?
basically, yes.
Do you doubt Jay's ability to do that?
I do not, not for a second.
Good.
I have bullshitted my way into actual real life jobs before.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
the best.
Is there any other way?
So I am going to do it as a character.
I mean, I
No, not
understand that
really.
most people get like a resume and fight other
Oh,
people
I
for the
had a
job
resume.
and
I
oh
worked
hey,
at a medical office with it zero medical like receptionist training at all. And I did it
nice.
for 2 years. So, like I can bullshit my way into a job fairly easily.
Good.
Uh-huh,
Good.
uh-huh,
Good.
uh-huh.
Good.
Like
Teach me how to do that. I
this
keep
is
doing
the
the
job
resume
I'm
route.
looking for. Nice. Uh,
Yeah. So he just like he with his like street knowledge about like his hometown and everything, like he kind of was able to uh help them map out more of this world and then um yeah, just kind
uh,
of moving through the
Boar's
rank.
specialization is apparently the fingies. Would you say that your specialty is talking?
Um I
Sorry, I
think
made that sound
yeah,
so
like
pedestrian. I meant social skullduggery, perhaps.
yeah, he's really good at like reading people.
Okay.
And it has like it can leverage stuff about people. Well, I saw you fight in this thing,
Ah, I
and maybe
see.
you weren't, maybe you weren't the best at it, but maybe we could do like this next. Like he's not gonna. So I'm still figuring out about like who he is, but like
Mhm.
definitely like he can like read people pretty well.
Sounds good.
Um, so yeah.
Rena, why do you work for a shadow cabinet for the government?
Well, her family um started off as part of the Arashi clan,
Hmm.
still technically from it. Uh, However, they were all part of the collateral damage. Something had happened within the organization when they were trying to fight off the yokai. Am I saying that right?
You are. How
Yes.
very Uchiha. Everybody's dead, mostly.
Yeah, and she had already had connections due to her political status.
Mhm.
And so that was also a contributing factor as to why they were collateral damage. And she still leverages her political ties
I
at
see.
this point.
Bonus question. Do you know what this collateral damage was?
Still trying to figure out that.
Sounds
Details.
good. Kai, why do you work for a shadow cabinet?
I didn't give them a whole lot of choice in the matter.
Oh
I
my.
think. Well, okay,
That
so
sounds threatening. Like,
it's a little bit. I think so. Kai's whole deal was, they kind of observed a shinobi operation take place on Refuge from like a little like bit of duct work overseeing the courtyard in which it took place.
uh-huh.
And because I Kai's a maintenance person, it's sort of like doing a little bit of repair work, a little bit of like tweak the cameras, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so I followed them through their little magic portal back to Nakatakuni. And once I'm on the other side and I see how all this stuff works, it's basically they kind of had to train me.
They either kill you or make you part of the plan. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
And in this case, the issue is that I am constantly pushing the boundaries of like breaking the veil, but not by accident, very much in a deliberate sense, because Refuge, unlike a lot of the other settings, is in peril. I mean, Refuge it's a moon colony. You got forced off of Earth and you're on this sort of like space station with the accompanying colony.
sure.
And Kai views like this whole, there are demons and everything. And here's how to fight them and here's how to survive, as like, oh, this is the answer to all the problems. This is how we take Earth back and, no longer have to be living out in space and all that. And I'm kind of trying to figure out how to push in that direction of like, hey, can we like organize? Because the other settings are fine. They're, they're infiltrated, they're infested, but they're not like
A shitty moon colony.
the planet's still there,
You say invested or infested?
infested.
Okay.
I mean,
With-
I know what he
Yeah.
said, but kind of both.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Kai is constantly kind of putting pressure on people. So the Tante clan, as the sort of one of the more compassionate houses, took me in and is trying to kind of sand some of those rough edges off.
Like, hey, working to preserve the mosaic is the plan. Preserve being the operative term. Like, yeah. I love that to everyone else, the mosaic is a sacred right that you would die to maintain, and you're like, it's a suggestion.
Oh no, not a suggestion. I'm full on like screw that.
Oh, I see. Right.
Okay.
So I completely forgot to ask Rena what their specialty was. It sounds like political leveraging, but I just wanted to double check.
Yes.
You bet. A lot of lean over the desk and let me tell you how it's going to be. Wouldn't it be so sad if your little hometown went?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
Kai, what is yours? Maintenance, demolition, threat of reveal. What is it that you do?
Gadgets mostly.
I see.
Any sort of like little doodads, dirty tricks. Mostly.
Pocket sand like that.
I literally have a smoke bomb Mikio.
Awesome.
Me too.
Like,
Hell yeah.
how very Batman of you. Hoshi, what is it that you do and why do you do it for the government?
Something got unclicked in my character sheet. One,
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Making sure I actually like have the things selected. Okay. Because that's what is expected of her.
That sounds very duty and purpose.
Yeah. Uh, it was not her decision. It was not her idea. Um, something happened and they needed a replacement. And she was picked.
I see.
So she's here and she's doing it.
Begrudgingly.
Yep.
That was going to be my next question.
I am like you cannot send my report card home and say that I'm failing the class. I did it,
But I don't want to.
but I don't want to. And not necessarily that she hates it or anything, but like she's still very she's only been doing this, I would say, for probably a few years.
Okay.
So it's still but she's been like on the periphery of it for most of her life. So it's a very weird convoluted relationship with it.
What is Hoshi's specialty?
Great question.
Okay. Was that you don't have one or you haven't
she doesn't
decided
have
yet?
an answer for that yet.
I see. Not enough. Is this a not enough on the job experience to know the answer, or I just don't specialize?
I would say not enough on the job knowledge yet.
Sure. So in my notes, I'm going to put enigma.
I'm an enigma.
Right. Wrapped in a secret, smothered in super secret sauce.
Mhm.
My
Molly,
favorite is the quote from the Doctor Who where it's the what is it? Enigma wrapped in a mystery or whatever in a skirt that's just a little too tight.
yeah. Yeah. It
I
rips at the edges
hate
just a little.
the like timing of the quote. Gosh, it's a good quote. It's incredible.
Mhm.
I'm playing a game earlier, and a guy is arguing with his father about his birthright or whatever, and his father basically dismisses him, and he says, "No, I birthright, I demand." And the dad says, "The only thing that the only right that birth entitles you is death." And I was like, "Oof!" Like that is
Hell
oof.
yeah.
Like,
That's
you
fucking metal as shit.
right? Like, oh man, like, wow.
I mean that's sort of the marginally more badass version of the generalized parental threat. I brought you into this world, and I can't take you out of
Take
it.
you out of
Right.
it.
But he said it with such incredible Conan gravitas, and I was like,
Mhm.
aye, like,
Mhm.
like, all right, I'm paying attention, Mr. Lionhead headdress. I can't believe I'm taking you seriously, but I am. Like,
Yeah.
look at you. Molly, why do you work for, a publicly facing, very secret organization that's dedicated to preserving all life, except maybe Kai's because he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so Molly is kind of estranged from her family, and she was trying to kind of find her own way. Her family are very high up people in manufacturing corporations and like very industrial type vibe.
Okay.
So her parents kind of expected her to take over that part of their business. Like her daughters are like because she has an older sister, so
Mhm.
the parents are like both of you are going to run this corporation one day and she's like I don't wanna. And so her parents kind of disowned her for that. So she's kind of just went and did her own thing. She ended up after a strange series of events finding her way into biology. And so she's a biologist specifically studying herbalism. So looking into potions and healing and poisons and that sort of thing. And especially in that more steel court world, that's a very unique and not necessarily looked very looked down upon role, especially with her parents being so big in the corporation and industry type thing. So one day her lab was attacked by the how do you say it? The
Yokai.
Thank you, by the yokai, and she kind of had was attacked as well, therefore ending up with like a scar across her eye. And the the corporation came in because they kind of stopped the attack, noticed her skill set with the herbalism and whatever, and they pulled her into the company. And so she was like, "Well, my family doesn't want me, so here I am, a place of belonging where she can potentially make something of herself for herself."
Nice. So I assume the answer to the question, what is it that you do, is toxins and poisons and have very Paracelsus of you.
Yeah, toxins, poisons, healing, like anything herbalism,
Right,
potion type deal.
Toxins and poisons and healings, oh my.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, look at me.
Right. Son of a frick.
Language, mister.
Sorry, my ability to type just left me for a moment.
Oh, no.
That
This
was
is a this is a family network.
I need to meet this Fraggle whose sons you keep invoking.
It is my local machine. It is absolutely not a family network.
Do you need
Uh,
upgrades?
What, to like my hands? Actually, that would
Oh,
be
well-
great if
That
I
would
had
be
my
great.
hands. Yeah.
Oh,
If
yeah.
Yeah, can Gabriel get into bionics real quickly?
Someday my
Mhm,
computer, the internet at large, is going to move as fast as my brain does. Oh boy, I can't wait. Like,
Yeah, I think what you're thinking of is a son of Fraggle Rock.
I don't
Kinda.
ever need a machine or internet or anything to be able to keep up with my brain because me having to slow down in order to type is the only thing that actually gives me any coherence.
agreed. Yeah.
mhm.
What a terrible, wonderful dream. What
Like
a
I
Yeah.
have
mixed
to be
bag.
able to stop and refigure out what I'm saying instead of it just going.
Right.
Mhm.
Kai, now I have Look Ma, I Caught a Fwaggle playing in my head. Thanks for that. Your character's going to keep that laugh, right? A little.
No.
That was a
God,
little
no.
nosebleed. It was like
God,
right
no.
here. That was good.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, did Crankshaft show back up?
It's kind of sounded like it.
Oh no, I have like 87 different character laughs. You need to understand this.
Nice. Do you have like one of the slow, long guffaws like Homer Pyle? That would be funny.
Maybe eventually.
I love you to think about it. Like,
Yeah, he has to cycle through the list of the
The
laughs.
filing
Yeah,
cabinet
it's like the
in
yeah,
mind.
Rolodex
yeah,
in
yeah.
his brain. Mhm.
Get Hiram properly stoned, and we'll see.
I thought we
Do
had.
you remember that the movie Bruce Almighty where God pulls on the cabinet and it just right?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That's my
Yeah.
brain. There's just a million documents flying all over the friggin' place.
And they're all laughs.
They're all laughs. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah. Yeah. ADHD. Wonderful. Don't want to live without it. What a pain in
Love
the
it.
ass.
Yep.
So the pile of you have been brought in for your first team assignment. It is up to you as individuals whether or not you've done missions on your own before, but this will be your first team assignment. The you're led into by some people that are covered in masks similar to the yokai. So most of the yokai don't walk around and show themselves because it's a problem. They come in all kinds of weird shapes and sizes. Some of them look like baboons. Some of them are 15-foot high dragons with faces on their butts. It's the kind of thing that would stick out. So most yokai wear a mask, not because they're afraid of mortals in general. They're not. But because it's easier to get around when everybody doesn't point at you and go, ah! So they wear usually a porcelain mask. There's a couple pictures of them in the book. I'll get some on the call later. But they all have inherent magical abilities that are only affected by either yokai who designed them or the specific sect of the government that you work for that has learned how they work. If a normal human were to pick one of those up and run magic incantations over it, they'd have no idea that it was a yokai mask. So the government takes them as trophies and gives them to most of their agents to wear in the office, not in the field. Because if you wear it in the field, a yokai can't tell you apart either, which is good when it's good and bad when it's not. So you don't get to take those into the field with you just because you feel like it. So you're led into a small room with 6 people that look, they're probably government agents. Maybe they're yokai, maybe they're not. I imagine the government knows that there's a certain degree of creep that comes with doing that. It's probably intentional. You're led into a small room that is large enough for the royal you here, and two people. There are only two chairs. They're already in them, and the desk is large enough for them to spread paperwork out onto it. But the room is designed so that there's really no expectation that you'll be treated with any degree of like you're not going to get a place to sit. Even if you brought a chair, there was nowhere to put it. There is a very tall man in like a big top hat that's comically tall and the top of it's broken. And he's really pale of skin and he's a little bit viscous. He drips. Look at that face. He looks like a steeplejack, fell down through, hit the bottom, covered himself in dust and slime, and then went about his day. He's
what?
a steeplejack, people who clean flumes and chimneys and such.
Oh,
Chimney sweep?
Okay. Okay.
Yes, that's the word I meant. Apologies.
Okay.
People
That
Now
makes
we need
sense.
to
I was
look at
like,
the word you actually
chimney sweep.
used.
Yes.
It is not. Right. Yes. Sorry.
Steeplejack.
Steeplejack, not the same. Sorry about that. The other guy, he's very gaunt and thin. Between the color of the skin and the dimensions, he might be a zombie. It's not outside the realm of possibility. The other guy is the other way around. He's almost a sphere. I don't mean he's big or fat. I mean he's like a beach ball in shape. Same thing though. Really, really gaunt and pale, and you can almost see through him. If he holds still long enough, you're pretty sure you can see his bones.
So not see-through as in hologram.
No, more like skin and organs that don't
More
have
like-
any pigment in them.
Translucent. Got it.
Yeah.
Translucent, yeah.
So you'll be relieved to know that steeplejack is just another word for chimney sweep, except this guy, he fixes them more than cleans them.
I thought they were connected. Hey, thanks.
You're welcome.
Like,
I still
so
love that. Steeplejack? Oh, the one that sweeps the chimneys. Chimney sweep. That's the word I
that's
meant.
the one.
Yep.
So
yep.
once upon a time,
Word of the
Amber,
day.
I told Amber I need the thing, and she went the thing.
Well,
I said,
you
you
know.
push the button, light comes out. She went a flashlight. Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
So as you enter the room, the round one turns to the tall one and goes, Mr. Smile, they're here. And the other one goes, indeed they are, Mr. Skulk. And they slide a paperwork across a folder across the table at you. It spills open. And there is a single sheet of paper in there with a couple of lines on it and a symbol. The symbol looks like a child's doll that's been ripped in half and it's leaking. The picture is black and white, so no idea what it's leaking. Could be blood, who knows? And beneath that is a scribble, like somebody scratched it into what looks like a brick wall, and it says Wicked Jack and Wretched John. And then it says, came to get us when the lights weren't on. And they go, fix
Like
it.
sounds like a very bad nursery rhyme.
They took our moms and broke our toys and helped us be good little boys. You bet. And
Is that also on the paper, or did you just decide to add?
both?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Ad lib goes dark.
Yeah.
And Mr. Skulk and Mr. Smile, who have not looked at you yet, turn to you at the same time, and they sort of creak and snap, like when you crack your knuckles. And they go on, fix it.
Where is it located?
Mr. Skulk will turn to Mr. Smile and go, I'm sorry, is that my job? And he goes, no, of course not, Mr. Skulk. That's their job. He goes, that's what I thought,
Okay.
Mr. Smile.
Just gonna turn and walk out the room.
The nursery rhyming and all that stuff screams steel court to me personally, but
Can I grab the paper?
Oh yeah, please help yourself.
Okay. I want to grab the paper.
To be clear, they do not say that, but if you go to take the paper, they don't stop you. Once they go on, fix it, and then you ask questions, and they just sort of mock the shit out of you. They sit in their
Fix it.
chairs, and you're right. Go on, fix it.
I'm more than happy to let you touch the paper because I don't want to touch the jellyfish man.
When you pick the paper up off the table, there'll be what looks like a key card underneath it, like a plastic beep beep, and a wrought iron key about this big and the teeth on the end of it are actual teeth. Whatever lock that goes in is probably very distinctive.
I'll happily take the key card because
You don't want to
Okay.
touch the weird looking key?
No, I don't.
think
No, he says.
no.
Todd.
Yeah.
yeah,
I wanna see the
Tanamichi's
lock.
gonna grab the key and kind of look at it
Kind of look at it. You bet.
and see.
Um,
If you
If there's
stick
any
in the
other
wrong pocket,
distinctive
you get
marking.
rabies.
Which pocket are you sticking it into?
the iron looks really old. And there might be more to it than that. Would you make a knowledge roll to see if you get anything more than what the key immediately provides to everyone else?
Yeah. So I have 3 in my mind and 2 in my knowledge. So I'd roll 5 dice.
Correct.
Okay.
Anything that's higher than a 3 is a success. You need 3 of them in this case.
Okay.
Those are pretty good odds.
Let's roll up. Okay. Here we go.
I play a lot of video games though, so
Oh.
for me, like 10% is good odds.
Okay. I got 2 6s, 2 4s, and a 1.
All right.
Nice.
So
Sixes
what
count for double, right?
they do, but ones take away from your success total.
Mm.
But because of the 6s, you still end up with what you need.
Mhm.
So maybe it's you, maybe it's the key, but as you spin it over and look it over, it produces an audible hum to you and not to anyone else. Not even to the 2 creeps on the other side of the desk. I mean, maybe they hear it, maybe they don't, but they don't make any indication that they do. It's a haunting wail. To be clear, I mean like a person wailing, not an actual wail. Though in my experience, whales do in fact wail. They make this haunting
Yeah.
sound.
Like depending on what
And
whale
some
it
people
is.
like to sleep to it.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to share with the group?
I mean, I know that Hoshi walked out. Has anybody else left the room? Or are we all still in here kind of hanging out?
I feel like Maxie is like not so subtly peeking over your shoulder and like staring at it.
Okay.
Those of
Rena
you
is
who-
just
go ahead.
on the side with checking out her nails. She doesn't really care what's going on. She's just like looking at her nails.
Good for her.
Those
Yeah,
of you
mhm.
with how do I put this? Political leveraging capabilities or preferences might consider using your manipulation skill to try and pry any information out of those 2 if you really wanted to, if you were so inclined.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have a technique. How did I do that?
A technique. Oh boy.
I also have techniques.
Weak point politics.
The hell does that do?
Mhm.
By taking an action, you can make an insight check against a character's manipulation check to learn an important fact about them that you can leverage to gain plus one bonus on one type of social action for 24 hours. I also have radiating menace.
Did you say radiating menace?
Yes.
I feel like I know what that does, but what
That's
does
the
that
coolest
do?
shit ever.
When you
What I
take
heard
the-
was fear me.
Uh-huh.
pretty much.
Hoshi, by the way, is standing more in the doorway now, but like
Okay.
arms crossed, one leg up, listening, but also like, can we go?
Right, like these 2 clowns aren't going to tell us anything useful. Can we get out of here?
Also, this is going to be her first mission. She wants it over with.
Oh, right, because you don't want to do this.
She's
Yeah,
not
you're just
excited.
like, I'm here because I have to be.
Like, yay, I did
Yeah.
it. I survived training. Cool. Can we go?
Yeah, I'm surveying the lovely bunch of coconuts we have here.
You bet.
And going, oh boy, at least 3 of these people are gonna die.
Yeah.
Correct.
Would you make you took the key
Damn.
card, would you make an engineering roll to see if you can, glean anything out of it other than that it's plastic and has a strip in it to open doors? It does seem heavier than it ought to, given the size of it.
Okay, so that's a total of 5 dice to roll because I got 3 in mine, 2 engineering.
Kenzie, when you turned your head because of the blurred background with the headphones, it just blurred your entire face on the other
Nice.
side. It literally just stopped at your headphones right then. That was very interesting.
Nice.
That's really
Rena,
funny.
did you want to squeeze those people? You don't have to. It was a suggestion, new system, and all
Um,
that.
My other cat
Yes,
decided
I just
it's-
don't know how I would
Baby.
do that.
Hi, baby.
Okay, what's your menace ability do for you?
Oh, scritchy time.
So like I just don't know how I would roll with all this. So with the menace, when you take the threatened action, you can target multiple characters. Each character must make a separate resistance check to defend against my manipulation, and I cannot take a penalty on this check.
I see.
That was
It took-
so many words.
Yeah, but I got it. Um,
I got 3 4s, 2 3s.
and that puts you at 3 successes. You bet. The key card is heavier than it should be because it has a layer in the middle that is not part of the key card. Somebody's kind of sealed something into the key card. And they were very good at it, but not perfect. There's a little hairline crack. If you hold the card just right, you can see that there's some sort of coated, kind of like when you hold up a die, you can see through and they've put something in there, except usually when you buy a set of dice like that, they want you to see the thing on the inside. It's kind of the whole point. In this case, it was very much supposed to be a
Yeah.
secret, and they just didn't quite pull it off. What your ability does for threaten is basically you can threaten more than one person at a time. Traditionally, when you try and threaten more than one person at a time in the system, you have to split your focus. So it's harder to do, which is why they're mentioning a penalty. Which is to say, there is no circumstance in which you would have a deficit to threaten someone. This doesn't mean you'd be successful, but it means that you can always attempt to threaten a crowd at full force, which I gotta say, as a 6'2" guy with dark hair, is quite the stunt. Good for you. Like that's
And how
really
tall is
something.
Rena? Like, Rena just like small but mighty. Like, is
Pretty
she kind of,
much.
like, yeah.
Mhm. So what would I roll then with that? Like how would I roll that?
I'm gonna bite your
working on it.
toes.
Right. You
Not even that. I'm gonna barely move, and somehow your toes will be gone.
your kneecaps in good shape? Yeah. You
Now,
wanna
see, I
keep
was
them that
thinking of
way? Don't threaten
more-
me like that.
I was thinking more along the lines of don't make the scary lady mad.
Right.
I
Social
mean-
actions. Here we go. Threaten. Oh, I appreciate this because there's more than one way to threaten somebody. Using a manipulation, strength, or melee check. Specifically, melee would be you put your hands on them. Strength is you throw something big and heavy and attempt to look like you don't want them to, and manipulation is any degree of conversation. Using one of those 3 checks, you attempt to make a target fear you. If you beat the target's defense, they take a -1 penalty to any checks required to oppose you. You could instead, though I don't think this is what you're going for in this case, you could take a -2 penalty on that check on purpose, which would override your I can't take penalties. To instead force the targeted character to run from you. And this is probably very meaningful in combat, stay away from you.
Ooh.
Which is different than how it works in something like 5e, where fear just says, I can't come towards you.
Yeah.
Ooh. I like
I'm
it.
gonna say this is very reminiscent of what our characters did to the things on Sunday.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hi, it's okay. You just aren't scary.
Same.
There's other kinds of fear.
So with that dice,
You might use that one. You might use the other one too.
I would like to use the manipulation one.
Sure,
Just
go for it.
So which ones would I roll? That's the thing. I was trying to find it on that on the.
Doesn't your
Like, how would I
character sheet have
roll that?
manipulation on it? It should.
Yes.
So
Thunder
the number
Spirit.
of dice is however many checks you have in the skill plus how many checks you have in the category. So manipulation, spirit. So it's how many checks you have in manipulation plus how many you have in spirit equals your total dice that you're rolling.
Oh,
Right.
so
So,
5.
like,
5
Yeah,
sounds
like I have
you bet.
1 in spirit and 2 in manipulation, so I'd only roll 3.
Okay, I have
Right.
3 in spirit and 2 in manipulation.
In
Yeah.
this particular case, these are usually your DC is 2 or 3. In this particular case, you are trying to scare 2 people who use fear for a living, Good luck with that. You're gonna need
Yeah.
you're gonna need at least 3 5s.
Oh,
It is worth pointing out that this is an opportunity for Inyo to come up should you roll 2 5s.
So it was 6, 5, 4, 2, 1.
Okay, hold on. I got to do math. The
6, 5,
one
4 is 3.
costs you one of your successes. Your 6 is worth 2 successes. How many successes do you have total?
Wait, say that again.
The 1 costs you a success. It eats one of the successes you already have. Your
Okay.
6 is worth 2 successes. How many other successes do you have? A success is anything that's 4 and up, usually.
I have a 4 and a 5.
You bet. You have 4 and a 5 and a 6, right?
Mhm.
You bet. That's 3 total successes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 6, a 5, and you'll need to turn that 4 into a 5 in order to get what you need. Do you want to do that?
Yes.
Inyo is a mechanic in the system. Did we talk about that?
No.
Inyo is a mechanic in the system. So the world you live in is being torn apart by maybe it's yin and yang, maybe it's the duality of life. Who knows? But there's some sort of supernatural force out there that you can call on in times like this, where you're 1 success shy. You can just take what you need from reality around you. But then there's a check on your character sheet that says Inyo. You'll put a dot in that. While that dot is in there, 2 things are true. 1, you can't call on Inyo again until that dot is gone. Second, and perhaps more importantly, you have just given that Inyo power to me. So at some point, you'll either get affected. I'll have an enemy get that 1 check that they needed, just like you just did. Or when they already have it, you'll take 3 more points of damage.
Okay.
At that point, your Inyo dot will go back to normal and you'll be able to use it again. This is true for everybody, not just you. Lots of systems do that. Modiphius is particularly famous for it. The difference here is that the Inyo that you took only slaps you back. So you can't take some Inyo power and then, punch Kai in the face with it. That doesn't
Why
really
is it
feel
That
always
would be
me?
great, though.
because you're in the
When-
middle of my screen. So there's like a target.
When would I get it back? Like, is it like a rest?
Not
or
until the
a-
bad guys use it.
Oh,
They have to
Okay.
use it against you for you to be able to do it again.
Right. Though generally speaking, I will do my best to give it back to you by the end of the session.
fair enough.
It's,
That's
It's,
a
I
threat.
would rather
That's
that than him
100% a threat.
stockpile it. I would much rather
True.
that and know that it's coming than him stockpile them, to be fair.
Mhm, mhm.
Yes.
it's like a ping pong ball. You can't smack it back until someone smacks it to you.
Right.
Mhm.
But you got what you needed. So you understand by looking at these 2 people, their condition. Mr. Skulk and Mr. Smile are zombies zombies are a weird case in the government you work for, in that the undead on paper are treated just like every other citizen. But socially, that's not really true. There's a certain degree of The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
So you have 2 choices here. You could either double down on that and try and make them uncomfortable. But I mean, that's probably not going to work. Somebody's been dealing with what amounts to racism their entire life is probably not going to be affected by it by you.
Mm-mm.
Or you could go the other way and communicate with them, try again and communicate with them like they're, people, because they are. Don't be a dick about it. And see if you can get a better response out of them. Whether or not Rena knows that is a tactical option, and whether or not Rena is the kind of person that would leverage it, I suppose, is entirely up to you.
Mm.
There are social
Mm.
tactics I'm aware of that I just can't do. You know what I mean? It feels
Mhm.
wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are you trying to suggest she hit on a zombie?
No, I'm trying to suggest that Rena, as a powerful political leverager, the idea of being fake nice to get intel might be a viable option, might make her feel a little sick to her stomach. I don't know what kind of woman Rena
Is it fake nice?
If you're doing it just to get what you want, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Insincere, yeah.
Insincere, for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
She's definitely going to go with the insincere fake nice route
Of course.
Yeah.
and just kind of stop leaning on the wall and politely approach them and be like, "Are you sure there's nothing else you can let us know? I mean, come on. You guys have to know everything that goes on in the underworld. I mean, come on, look at you guys."
Oh, nice. Because they're
Oh,
zombies.
damn.
Like, nice. That's
Like,
that feels
leverage what
kinda
you
like
have.
right. That kind of
Yeah.
kind of feels like leverage the racism. But hey, like what's a little
Little bit of
undead?
both.
Yeah, right. What's a little undead profiling? Like that's
Mhm.
like
Can't get any deader.
yeah.
What's a little undead profiling? Oh my god.
That is a quote that is going down.
You
Yeah.
only die twice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? And if they're not capable of turning pink, they cannot blush, they don't have any blood. But they do twitch as though if they were in life they would, and they kind of and they're not really prepared for that. Like they'll kind of do one of these, like did you just get a little warm in here? What's Mr. Skull, could you turn on the air conditioner? And Mr. Smile will stand up and go to find the air conditioner, which turns out actually there is one. There's like a sliding panel.
But they who
Uh,
have no blood are somehow affected by these.
Oh, I imagine that's mostly a show. Like a psychosomatic response from when they lived. But no, I imagine
Mhm.
their temperature can't actually move. But hormones aren't blood necessarily, right?
Yeah.
Like, so they could have a reaction that isn't, and they'll apologize and go, perhaps we were curt. We don't have that much intel for you, unfortunately. Mostly what's in the file, and we understand that's not much. But we can tell you that the key card goes to Xanatos Industries.
Can you spell that for me?
I can. Xanatos.
Thank you.
You bet.
What might Hoshi know about Xanatos Industries?
Probably what everybody else knows. It's not a big secret. It's like if you live in the middle of the woods but you have internet, you probably know what Amazon is. That kind of everyday knowledge.
Okay.
Xanatos Industries is run by a man with that name.
His name is Mr. Industries? Wow.
No, his name is
Wow.
Xanatos.
Wow.
Wow.
And Xanatos Industries deals in everything. The official, like what's on the business card is international trade. But the truth is interdimensional trade of everything.
Mhm.
People, for example, everything with a capital E.
I
Xanatos
got my hammer from them.
probably. Xanatos Industries and Xanatos the Man by extension are kind of like an open secret. We all tolerate it because we have to, because he's the only, I'm going to use this word loosely, licensed, by which I mean accepted, not actually licensed on paper, trade broker across the mosaic. He's a weird exception in that he's one of probably a fistful of people that aren't part of the government that are aware of other dimensions.
Mhm.
And this guy's evil? Shocker.
I mean, I didn't say that. Like, I feel like you're a profiling heavy group. You haven't even met him yet. Maybe he's really nice. Like,
Well,
I
at
think,
those prices, I think he
right?
is.
I think Tanamichi kind of chimes in like they're giving some information, and so he kind of like holds up the teeth key, for lack of better word, and is like, and what was this found there?
That
What-
was
when is
found
this?
set one of the bricks in the photo. And they look at the photo again and go, I see. You can't actually tell. We didn't take that good a look at the photo. We didn't take it. One of the bricks right below the writing is pulled out, and that key was set on it very much on purpose. Other agents made sure that key doesn't go to any building within miles of that location. Not even close. Like whatever lock that goes into, we don't have anything like it on record, and whatever it is, it's going to be real distinctive. Nobody uses a key that has actual teeth on it. That's macabre.
Mhm.
I mean, they has its purposes.
Also, I've never gotten to play an
Including-
undead who said that's macabre before. Thanks for that.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I had to pause at that for a second.
That's
I
creepy,
think,
bro.
yeah. Tanamichi kind of like, and has anybody else heard anything from this key? Like,
What do you mean
Audibly.
here?
I'm sorry, heard?
Heard?
you guys didn't hear,
No.
and since
May
Rena's
I?
like basically standing right next to him, he'll like pass it to her to see if she can hear it once she touches the key.
Nope.
Okay,
I
cool.
do not
Cool,
hear anything. I'm gonna hand
cool,
it back
cool,
to
cool,
you.
cool, cool, cool.
Wait, can,
Okay.
can I try?
Yeah.
So
Oh, pass around the key.
And
Pass
and
around the
and,
key.
and,
If
and Kai
anybody
is
can
now
hear it.
thinking. Kai's now thinking to themselves, like, "Oh, good. We're not even out of the first room, and we've already got one of these people hearing things."
We're already fucking cursed.
If
That's
you
great.
pass around
Uh-huh.
the key, everyone can touch the key, hold the key, snuggle
I am
the
not going to
key.
touch the key. I am
The-
not touching the key with teeth.
That is a
Gonna-
hard no.
Gonna like try and
That's the
poke it at
line.
him. Be like, but
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
cool. It makes sound. I think.
The only person who'll hear anything from the key is Tanamichi. When Tanamichi gets it back,
Cool.
you will clearly hear that key say, "I can't believe you tried to give me away."
Oh.
I'll see everybody in 15 minutes.
Oh, camera, send me die.
Yeah.
I think
Where to from here?
Can Hoshi
Oh.
get someone's attention outside the door and just get a updated, if they have one, roster of like for the fake Amazon company, like not who works there, but like trading partners. Any
So-
information on that type of stuff that wouldn't necessarily be super public.
Right. Officially, no one is permitted, no civilian is permitted to do trade with yokai or anything from another dimension, including other humans. Because I mean, absolutely not.
I'm not asking for official.
Right. Unofficially, Xanatos somehow manages to handle all of his deliveries and or like all the paperwork by himself. He doesn't have any staff.
Santa Claus?
He is a multi-trillion-dollar industry spread across more dimensions than we can actually keep track of at a time. The mosaic is mostly unexplored, and yet one individual man manages to do trade like trillions of dollars in a year by himself. He doesn't.
So you said that's the paperwork, the deliveries, all
All
of the
of it.
above. It's
All
just
of it.
him.
It's just him. Xanatos Enterprises is a building that sits inside the mosaic from which all of the shipping takes place.
Hey Kai, can I see that key card for a second?
okay.
Hold it up.
The,
let you see it.
So you said there was something inside, like an interior layer of that, right?
There's something. It looks like there was an object, and probably a very thin object, wrapped that looks silverish, and somebody made a key card sort of over it, sandwiched the key card over it.
Can that thing be removed without damaging the card?
It doesn't look like it. With the right
Okay.
kind of workshop, you could essentially break the key card in half, like this way, like an Oreo. Remove that thing and then refashion the key card. But you would need, a pressing machine to do that.
Right.
The government absolutely has one. If that's something you want to do,
I may do that later if we need. I want to make sure that the whatever the magnetic strip on the card isn't damaged, so we can still use the card for its intended purpose first.
you bet.
I will allow my cohort to examine it. However,
Sure, you bet.
I just wanted to take a look at it too.
For what are you looking for? Anything he didn't already see?
Yep. Because
You bet. Would you make an investigation roll for that?
Bye, Fluffy.
yeah.
What would investigation be?
Investigation is, I'm sorry, I meant engineering.
Mm.
Apologies.
Oh, okay. That's a roll 5. 6, 1, 4, 2, and 4.
How many successes is that?
Uh, that'd be minimum 3 would be a success, right?
4 and higher.
Okay.
Because then it
So
also had a 1 in
yeah,
Right.
that'd be 3.
Total successes, you bet. You look it over, you don't see anything he saw. You don't see anything he didn't see. There's no more information to be gained. Your
In fact,
eyes
it's not-
temporarily
cut it
turned
off.
off. You saw nothing. Like,
Okay, Eclipse, I have to stand up. I have to sit up.
there is a
Oh,
tiny
I'm so
whiff
sorry.
from the
so
card,
sorry.
though. It looks like from the smell, there's that heated plastic smell that comes off of that kind of thing when they're brand new. It's not there very much, but it's, I mean, it means the key card's probably either very, very new, as in hasn't been exposed to a lot of air for that smell to dissipate into, or another way to keep that from happening is to seal something up. If you get brand new leather boots and you don't take them out of the box for a year, they'll still kind of smell like leather when you take them out of the box for the first time.
Did Smile and them explain where they got the key card? They told us
They
where they
did
got
not.
the key.
They did not
no.
tell you where they got the key card. Though I'm gonna have Rena's so I don't want to, it occurs to me that in a meta narrative level that might have come across as they were like flustered in a turn on kind of way. That's not really what I meant to do with that. That was more
That's not
like
how I felt it came across.
Oh, good. That was more
No,
like
it
somebody
felt like
treated
they
me
were
like
flattered
a person,
and-
right?
yeah.
And I wasn't. They
Mhm.
were just not prepared to be not creeped at. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. And that's
Uh,
what Rena was going for equal, not
yeah.
seduction.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Just wanted to make sure. Um,
You'll know when it's seduction from her.
okay, that sounds like a threat.
So they're not all dead and bothered?
Becky is gonna.
all dead and bothered.
That's a
Heather,
good one.
Holy
watch it.
shit.
I was
That's a
gonna
good
say
one.
you're just gonna hold a sign over your head that says seducing or something like that, and then
Right.
Stormy made a joke that made me take so much psychic damage that my brain stopped.
You are welcome.
Um,
I'm picturing Becky holding up a sign that just says sex words and whatever. Just
And
scroll
then
on.
just rotates the sign.
no, it says les
Wholesome. No.
Nice.
Let's
A little spicy.
It's French spice. That's good.
Uh-huh.
A little bit
Uh-huh.
of spice.
Les spice.
Because something
Uh,
like German spice is a whole nother thing. Like,
German spice is salt and pepper. I'm joking, but
ah,
I am German.
Oh.
It's fine.
I thought it was mustard.
Hey,
of all of
Um,
the anger explained on the table so far, I think that was the biggest shot fired. Good times.
Mhm.
British spice is water.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like we are the English. We'll spread out
British
and
spice
take
is
everybody's
tap water. It
spices
has
and
something
use none of
tangy in it. It's too much.
Right.
It's called iron and minerals, but ooh.
Right. We reached out and took everybody's everything and then did nothing with it. We didn't want to use it. We just didn't want you to have it. So we have all the spices in the world and they're in the pantry and we don't like touch any of that.
Mm-mm.
Can
Boy,
I
look, it's
Can
shiny.
Hoshi be
Uh,
looking over the paper and
Oh.
like
Sure, yeah.
examining the picture and memorizing the poem and
You bet. The picture itself is just like a photocopy of a photo. So it's just a sheet of paper. There's nothing special about it. But in the picture, it does look like a brick wall. And you can kind of see where like the bottom brick, they took it straight on. So the bottom brick that's been pulled out, you can only kind of tell. The scratching, nobody painted that. It looks like the poem was dug into the brick wall pretty deep. Like maybe deeper. It looks the way maybe
that's
it was-
nobody's fingernail, or at least no human's fingernail.
yeah, no human's fingernail. It was either a knife or more likely a claw or something like it. But yeah, not a
Mhm.
human fingernail. Less human, more bird.
Clarification of the teeth. Are they human teeth? Are they creature
Um,
teeth?
So yes,
Sure.
both of those things.
Okay.
There are 8 teeth on the end of that key. 6 of them are clearly human teeth. They're old. They're yellowed. The bottom 2 are sharp canine teeth that look like they probably came out of the mouth of a dog or some other creature like that.
Aren't all
Um,
humans creatures anyway?
Yes.
Technically.
Technically, those canine teeth are this much longer than the human teeth above them on the key. Like
Okay.
you could use the word canine. I might go with the word fang.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
unlike the yellowed human teeth, those two are stark white. They look brand new.
Hmm.
Freshly
Freshly
acquired.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna go with harvested, but yeah, sure.
I feel like harvested is worse.
In
in
Acquired.
addition to the keys.
Acquired would be
Extracted is-
voluntary.
Extracted, right? Extreme dentistry.
They
right.
could
Mhm,
have
mhm.
shed said teeth. Like
They could have, but
Who knows?
on the bottom of those teeth attached to the key is the root bulb underneath.
Ah.
no, probably not.
Ah,
Probably
Mhm.
not.
Yay.
Mm.
Yay.
Aye.
Yay.
Borrowed with no intention of return.
That's called theft.
Uh-huh.
Does that part of the key then feel a
No.
little fleshy?
Sorry again.
Okay.
No. Ew. No. No.
No.
They are important questions.
First
So-
off, no. Second off, I
Why?
want to see a situation in which you can remove someone's tooth and then put it back in.
No.
Isn't that what veneers are for?
I was
Challenge
like, they make
accepted.
sort of
No.
adhesive
Second off,
for that.
why? Third off, ick. Fourth, then what Mike said.
Nice. So the key, other than the teeth, is entirely iron. Wrought iron that has sort of a bluish tint to it, which doesn't really mean anything. Some iron really does kind of have a bluish tint to it.
Mhm.
But those 8 teeth, they don't have, like, they're not melted into it or anything. They just stay stuck against it. Maybe there's a little tiny itty bitty drop of epoxy in there or something, but there's no immediate evidence as to how they stay on the damn thing. They're not lashed to it. They're not set into it, but they don't move when you touch them. They're real stiff. He says,
Oh,
assuming that you
nobody's.
touch the
I
key.
haven't touched the actual teeth yet. I've just picked up the key. I don't know if
Well.
anybody else around the.
Oh,
That's-
Molly
touched
totally
it.
would.
No,
Oh, yeah.
anybody want to
Okay,
fondle
okay.
the
I was like,
the
I don't
key
know if
teeth?
anybody else would, but
Oh,
Tana
Molly
Mason would not
definitely
have-
would.
You
Okay.
bet.
Yeah.
Are there any identifying in terms of
In the
origin
photo,
details about said doll that is leaking something?
so maybe would you make where is that? A knowledge roll.
Ooh.
The doll does look kind of distinctive, but not without a roll.
You're mid blink. You need to open your eyes to
Four,
look at the
six.
doll.
4, 6, 3, and 1.
What does that put you at?
I need to beat a 3 or I need to hit 3.
For this you're looking at you need 2 successes total. A success is a 4 and up.
You got the 2.
I got
Oh,
the 2 because I got
Right, because your 1
6
took away
would
one of
count
your-
as 2, but the 1 takes 1
Right.
away. So,
So
it is
you have 1
one.
left over plus the
Mhm.
one you have. You bet.
Yeah.
So that doll, while it's not like it's just a straw doll, that's there. Those are used in all kinds of different dimensions. But that particular, like the thatching on the end of that hay, is unique, to a synthetic field in. Oh crap! I just forgot the name of the dimension. The one that looks all steampunky.
Steelport.
That one. That in Steelport, a lot of Steelport looks like it fell out of like an episode of Peaky Blinders or something. But almost all of it isn't actually set in 1920s America. A lot of it is in the far future, and they just use various synthetic materials to, like, they've just decided they like that motif.
aesthetic.
Right.
Mhm, mhm.
Steelport is in the middle of a revival of natural resources. Their planet sort of went dormant for a while. Bummer. But they recovered. But that means that a lot of the things that people are wearing and eating and driving are completely synthetic in nature. GMO turned all the way up until we broke the dial off. While that straw is just as good as the real thing, it does look a little different, and it splits funny on the end. That straw, that doll is almost certainly from some kid in Steelport.
Port.
Steelport is also famous for its brickwork, so would be
Mm.
like
Can I ask Mr. Smiles?
the tall, gaunt-looking one. You bet.
Yeah. Where'd they find the key card? It's not in the picture.
Oh, we just sort of assumed that you would need one. it's not attached to the mission directly so much as that in our experience, Xanatos is a slippery weasel with good intel.
Gotcha.
Do you know what got put inside of it, or how'd they put it inside of it?
The layer inside of it, that is a unique key card issued to us by him. Xanatos doesn't do visitors. Like it's not like he has tours through the factory or anything. So that key card is, as far as we know, a complete duplicate of his, except it'll work for other people.
Oh, cool.
So we need to pay a visit.
You don't
Yeah.
have to. We just want to make sure that you
Oh.
can.
Oh, it will definitely be happening. It's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
Does he have a residence in Steelcourt?
No, Xanatos doesn't have any residence as far as we know. We haven't seen him leave the factory except in his projection in a long time.
Projection?
Projection. Hard light like a hologram, except he can pick things up.
Okay.
But
Uh,
actual skin and blood Xanatos, haven't seen him outside of the building in 50 years. And not for lack of trying.
Has anyone seen him in the building?
He doesn't do tours.
Do you have the address of where the picture was taken, the building?
Yes, it's in a abandoned warehouse that hasn't been used for anything in 20. Mr. Smiles? 24 years. It's
Okay
in
there?
Steelport. Yes. Apologies. Being connected to the realm of the living for this long without a break is sort of rotting what's left of the mind.
Well, we
Um,
appreciate your efforts.
No
Thank you.
worries. I get that a lot.
Once you die, it's hard to care about the living. No offense.
None
Yeah, when you're
taken.
alive.
Fair.
Blah.
So
Yes,
much
there's-
nihilism happening here. Oh
I
man.
prefer machines. They're a little bit more realistic.
right? I like this one. So yes, an abandoned warehouse that we had. I mean, we didn't scope it out. We're dispatched. We don't do that. Also, look at us. We said we sort of stick out. But the intel reports we got were that it's an abandoned warehouse that everyone from the unhoused to drunken teenagers use for, to find a place to drink and stay away from other people. It's not lived in. But I suppose the term abandoned is generous.
Okay.
But aside from that, there's nothing really noteworthy about it. It's an old brick warehouse on the southern edge of Steelport. There's nothing to see. We checked.
Doesn't mean there's nothing to see around it.
True. It would be difficult to have the area around that warehouse is very populated, and it would be difficult to quarantine the whole place off and then have everybody look through it without enough to keep that many people, to kick that many people out of their apartments to do an exhaustive search all at once is
Mhm.
not the kind of thing that would be very expensive. And that's why we thought that while a large dedicated team was perhaps too much, 1 or 2 agents wasn't enough. So the 6 of you together,
Be
What
Yeah.
about us?
logical.
We can do just enough damage to be worthwhile.
that is one way to phrase it.
Hmm.
Yes.
Do you guys provide transportation? I would love to drive.
To Steelport? Oh no, we don't
Port.
have the Mikio to get that portal open. But they'll do that thing where you put 4 fingers in your mouth and whistle real loud that I cannot do, and even if I could, I wouldn't do it into a microphone. And what appears to be a one-legged bird man will in like a flat cap will come into the room like wool vest, pocket watch, the whole bit. I'd be like, yes, and they go, I believe they're ready to go. And he goes, all right, and his wings will flat back, and he'll sort of. I don't know if you heard that, but the knuckle crack was definitely supposed to happen. And it was all right. Stand back. Don't get hurt now. And he'll pull a scythe off his back and just rip a hole through the middle wall. and what looks like red swirling energy that's all of the colors at once. And I don't mean like a rainbow where they're all layered and nice and pretty. I mean all at once. And he goes, in you go. Try to stick the landing.
Rena will go and shake both their hands and thank them by name before
Aw.
leaving.
Hoshi just takes a breath and 2 feet jumps in.
I make a
Molly's
mental
right
note.
behind.
Kai makes a mental note not to shake Rita's hand until she's sanitized. Something.
Aw.
Racist.
No, I
No,
mean
no.
decaying flesh. You need to watch.
Yeah,
it.
that,
Yeah, I mean,
the
I get it.
literal.
Mm,
That is
mhm.
an actual germ problem. That is not. That is like
It's not
legit.
racism, it's health.
That
Rena Rena
Well,
constantly
unless they're
keeps-
wearing gloves. Were they wearing gloves?
No.
Okay, then yeah, you need
No,
to wash your
no.
hands.
Rena was wearing gloves herself, but she also keeps sanitary things because she's always like trying to, shake hands, political. Like she makes sure she's tidy. Also, she can't leave any of her anything to
Right, yeah, you
DNA or
can't
anything
leave
around.
bits
Yeah.
behind. Yeah.
No.
Not
I
happening.
hope no one's leaving any bits.
Bye, guys. See you dead or dead.
Yeah, right.
Somebody already lost a bunch of teeth. So anyway,
Speaking
yeah.
of, 4, would you roll a d6 and cut the number in half?
Yeah.
Oh no. Here we go.
Upper end or lower end?
What do you mean?
Round up, round down.
Round down. You can get a 0.
Okay. How do I math? That'd be a 2.
Did you just say, how do I math?
You roll the 5.
I feel that in my
I rolled a
soul, though.
5.
I get that.
Every day of my life when I'm trying to
Mhm.
like just figure out how many minutes I talked on the phone, I'm literally like 2 plus 5 is
Is-
Mhm.
yeah.
6.
And-
No, 7.
And then
I,
I,
u-
like such
I
a
used to be a
clown.
math teacher, and that was real humbling when my students were like, Miss Palmer, that's not right. They were 5th graders too, which makes
Nice.
it even
Oh.
better.
Oh, rough.
I did that
That's
to my
all they
5th
have
grade
to
English
have in their
teacher.
brain. You have so many adult things in your brain too.
Exactly.
Right. Like, look here, you little
Exactly.
snot. I have other stuff, okay?
I would routinely check the spelling of my 5th grade English teacher. So yeah, I was that kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. I once got a
And
teacher
not
very,
that
very
adult?
mad at me. What now? You're not that adult?
I don't know where my 5th grade English teacher lives now. I can't.
Once upon a time, I got a teacher very, very mad at me because I like proved with vector lines and such that you can absolutely see the Southern Cross from the Northern Hemisphere. And they argued to me tooth and nail that you cannot. You sure can. And they got very, very mad because no teacher wants to hear, no, you're wrong in front of all their other students.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No.
So it's a great way to piss off your
See, I
parents.
had my 1st grade teacher and my favorite substitute within 3 doors of my house, so
Oof.
I cat sat for them. It was great.
Oof. You a 2, you say? On that roll, did I hear that right? You got a
5
2?
and a half
Oh,
rounded
fuck.
down to.
That's-
I got
Oh,
a
no.
5 and halved round down, so 2.
You bet. Congratulations. In an attempt to step into like the little Xander's Industries is a giant, comically large, absurdly designed at weird angles warehouse, basically, on a floating parcel of land in the Great Void that's just big enough to hold it, and another like 50 feet. Xanatos doesn't like they said, he doesn't have visitors, right? So it's not like there's a sign or a roadmap or something. Why? But your fellow teammate just ripped a hole in the mosaic to get you there. But rift diving, which is what you've just done, is not a thing that mortals are like designed to do. So while you wanted to land here, you actually landed over there on another floating rock. I don't know how you're going to get from here to there. Good luck with that. You are floating in the great ether called the in-between. Bummer. I will see you next time.